criminal in a 12A. Thing's kind of gutless. What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to today's Get the Rally Car Ready for the Rally today. We leave the same day that we're filming this video. There's still a lot of work to do on the car. We still have to take this thing for a proper rip to make sure it's going to survive. I'm Mr. Rad, and we're going to get to making some Rotary madness. You're just tuning in. 2 weeks ago to Ojibwe Forest Rally, we won the Ken Block Flat Out Forever Award. We broke the car in a spectacular fashion. 2 engines down, a transmission down. It's been, let's just say, a mess. And now the car has a 12A full Bridgeport, gnarly, awesome Rotary. We're leaving for Over Mountain Rally in Tennessee today with the Rotary car, completely, mostly untested. The whole goal for this event is to go there, hang out with our rally family, share our love of Rotary engines, our love of rally, and try to put as many smiles on all the spectators' faces as possible. Literally, if we got to run at the back of the pack, I can tell you we're going to be Scandinavian flicking, letting all the flames and Rotary fire breathe out the back of this thing at every single spectator area. And if we've got to just cruise to the next section, then we will. The points, the championship, nothing really matters for us at this event other than having fun. So let's get this thing buttoned up. I got a skid plate to put on, a spare package to put together, not a whole lot of time to do it, and we've got to ultimately go shred some back roads in this car to make sure that it's, you know, rally ready with a Rotary. There's been some minor updates. I've got a fuel pressure regulator now, which ultimately isn't going to do the exact trick, but the one I ordered isn't going to get here in time for it to be on the car before the rally. So we're going to put it on during the rally. We now have throttle return spring. I adjusted my throttle cable bracket, so that's a win. The strut tower brace is on. Tidied up some wiring. I had to add a speedometer cable so the transmission doesn't leak oil. Need an overflow tube from here to here, which is super easy. The grill is mounted. The light bars are back on. Everything's looking pretty much proper on the engine bay. Another huge upgrade, and I have to really give a big shout out to the 43 Institute guys, because this, you know, their money that we won at the last event really helped us to, you know, we're going to upgrade the safety in this car. That's probably one of the most important things in motorsports, is making sure that you not only have fun, but you stay safe while you have fun. Obviously, everybody's here for pushing the limits, but safety is key. So one of the things we'll be doing over the winter is installing Lexan windows with the little sliders. I'll have to make them custom, but that's okay. And then getting some side impact door foam in our doors. So if you see like WRC rally cars, they have big, you know, styrofoam sections protecting the driver from a side impact. Anytime, you know, in rally, you're sideways, you could hit a telephone pole or a tree. Basically right here, you know, this horizontal bar, if you're looking down at it in the vertical plane right here, if you hit that with a tree, there's nothing to support this bar. So it's just going to bend in, crush either me or Calvin or both of us together. So that side impact foam helps to, you know, just like a crumple zone in a car, reduce the harshness of the impact. It's been proven, you know, Seamus with his Escort, they had a pretty good accident and they have that foam in there now, and it's proven to be a very positive addition to the safety of small rally cars. In addition, the 43 Institute money, we invested back into a good set of intercoms for the car. So this isn't super top of the line, crazy, Bluetooth, connect your phone, the whole deal to it, but we have a Stilo. This is their like driver filter intercom. I wired it up here, 12 volt powered instead of the 9 volt battery, which you could run in here. I've ran the leads up through the roll cage down here, and we've got co-driver and driver lead hanging from the ceiling. In addition, we were going to need helmets at the end of the year regardless, because my old G-Force helmets from years and years ago were expiring. So this is a fresh Stilo, kind of their basic, you know, entry-level rally helmet with the comms and earmuffs and stuff all built inside of it to plug in as well. So I put a little livery on mine. I'm a big Viper ACR is like one of my guilty pleasure cars that I just love to see and see rip, and they're super cool. I'll probably never own one because they don't really mean that much to me, but one of the coolest things I love about the Vipers is the orange offset stripe. So if you notice on all my builds, Radix 7 included, the Colt has one, the RX-8 has one, that stripe right down the driver. So I added an offset stripe on here to kind of emulate the ACR theme, which is like track prepped race car, but still kind of built around production cars. So in addition to the intercoms, paint on the tunnel. I've got a clutch stopper that I added on the clutch pedal so that it doesn't over center itself. We got a shift boot now. Still need to build a bushing for that, but that's okay. And everything, the car is wiped down. Everything's mint and clean. So I need your guys' help in the comments below. What all would you guys pack if you were packing a spares package for your rally car to go to an event? So like, you know, if you say you had spare pretty much everything, what all would you bring? Drop it in the comments. What do you think is going to be the major component that we would break? Because at the end of the video, we're going to put a spares package together for this, and I'm going to show you what I'm bringing. But I want to know what you think I'm going to put in that package. So drop that in the comments below. I'm going to get cracking on getting the skid plate fixed up. We'll take this thing for a proper rip, and then we'll be ready for Over Mountain Rally in Tennessee, where we're going to have a super crappy time. We didn't change the skid plate mounting locations, but we did change the engine that sits above the skid plate. And the rotary engine oil pan sits just a little bit lower than the oil pan does from the 4G52 crazy Mitsubishi forklift engine that we had in this car previously. So what I'm gonna do is I need to make some adjustments to the mount locations on the subframe of the car such that the back of my skid plate is gonna sit just a little lower. One thing on this skid plate is that it does mount kind of only in 2 spots, and that is here on the skid plate and then at the very front. So what I'm gonna do is by lowering the back of it, I'm gonna have to bend the back of it up so it doesn't really like, you know, stick out. And what that ultimately means is I'm gonna bash it with a hammer until it fits, and we're gonna call it a day. Saw it here, look at that. Oil drain plug, safety wired in, will not come out now, hopefully. All right, moment of truth. Let's take this thing for a rip. 2 pumper. Okay, maybe we're in 2 pumps. Steering wheel's not straight. Oh, this is so good. It's been a minute since I've driven old NA 12A. This thing's kind of gutless. Oh, that's not good. Hitting a wall at like 6,000. I got an air bubble in the water system. It's a little warm. Well, Oh, this is gonna be a dusty rally, boys. All right, guys, the car's running a little warm, right? So I engineered up a quick little radiator panel. So there was obviously some orifices, which are holes, everywhere in here where air could go around the radiator and not go through it. In addition to probably, you know, the hood sat flush with the grill, but the hood was probably a solid 2 inches above the radiator. So you've got a good section of air that can just go right in here and go up and over it. Now, these light bars don't necessarily have to be here. They're blocking some air to go through the oil cooler and radiator. We're gonna have to leave these on for tech inspection because they do technically count as my bright headlights. I don't know if it's necessarily super against the rules that I don't have, like, you know, brights on my regular headlights. I just didn't wire it that way. So when they asked me for brights, I just hit these. I'm like, oh, my brights. I'll probably see a little bit of a coolant temperature decrease taking these off. So it's just 2 bolts, unplug them, good to go. But what this radiator panel does is seals to the bottom of the hood right here with the foam right behind the grill. The air now has to go through the radiator. It can't go over it. In addition, I've sealed up the holes on the sides of the radiator. So yeah, there's still some areas up in here, you know, around the bumper, goes to the wheel well, over here behind the headlight, where some air is going to get into the engine bay on both sides. Now, I think that's important, that you do get some cool air into the engine bay itself. Just keeps, you know, the carburetor happier. When you typically put like some big hood scoop V-mount thing where the air through the radiator goes straight out of the hood and you don't get any airflow in the engine bay, you run into engine bay temperature issues. So we got to balance that to some extent. I do think there's still some room for improvement with like some sort of a duct, kind of where my hand's at here, that would widen the opening to then suck more air and force more air through the radiator. So, you know, looking at like people who race track days and time attack and all sorts of stuff, they have these real skinny slots to allow the air into their car, but they don't necessarily have a rotary. Now, what we talked about in a previous video was like, okay, I do have just a stock water pump pulley on this thing. You know, we're double belted. I've got this thing probably tighter than it should be, honestly, with the fact that I don't want to wipe out my front stationary gear bearing, but I also don't want my clutch fan to make the water pump pulley slip. So, you know, some slippage would probably honestly be good because that takes the efficiency range of my water pump and moves it to a lower, you know, the water pump spinning slower than the engine spinning. But I really don't want to see a lot of that. So that'll just cook my belts. But that small water pump pulley with this engine ripping at high RPM is just not entirely going to be the most effective, you know, unit here. But we got all this steeled up. I taped this off. I don't know how well this tape's going to last, but it just has to do one event. I did fold the edge down, so there's really only like a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch gap there. But hopefully, you know, the engine was sitting for a while, and I don't want to speak this into existence, but I feel obligated to tell you, if it's been sitting for a while with no coolant in it, it is reasonably likely the coolant seals could have dried up, and now I could have a coolant seal leak, which would be like having a blown head gasket. Unfortunately, I think that I used my last soft seal kit that I had here to stack up this REW engine for the Black FD. So I don't think I have like a soft seal kit with new coolant seals just chilling. So that's where, like, you know, the spare parts coming in. I'll show you when we're loading those up. Power feels good. The power delivery feels good. The carburetor feels good. you know, when it first broke up a little bit, I'm just going to attribute that to the fact that it wasn't all the way warmed up. And, you know, once it was warm, we were ripping. So honestly, as much as I want to be like, this thing's going to survive me running 9,500 RPM the whole way for the whole rally, you know, my goal for this event, it does not matter for any points. We're not going to beat a 302 powered Ford Escort unless they break. Like, we're just out here to have fun, and that's really what I want to do. So if I have to dial it back a little bit and drive a little slower to keep the Braps alive for the whole event, we'll do that. But I really don't think, you know, I bet like if I just keep it under $7,000 for the whole event, we'll be rad. And then also I can run it to like 9,500 past all the spectators, you know, like the super special stage on the chip the whole time. But like the 20-mile stage, might just drive it at like 65% the whole way, so we complete the stage, right? Because you can't win if you don't finish, but like you can't have fun either, I guess. Maybe sometimes you'd have fun in failure, because Ojibwe was was just a blast working on our car the whole weekend. But you know, more driving equals more fun, equals more Braps, equals more smiles, and that's what we're about. So it's time to load this thing up. This is as far as she's going to get. The truck and trailer has to leave. Calvin is going to be here very shortly, as he's got to take the rig, basically, and then I'm going to be meeting him there later this week. Get the hood put back on it. I'm pumped. This actually looks real nice, more motorsportsy than just radiator and holes and stuff. Yeah, let's wrap this thing into the trailer, and then I'll show you my spares package, because honestly, the spares are pretty sick for this event. The fact that this clutch pedal only moves like half of what an RX-7 clutch pedal moves, and it's restricted from what it was before, is just really tripping me up. Ignition on. It's warm, no pumps. Okay, we gotta pump it. Give it a little gas. There we go. We're getting a good bit of air coming out of the hood vents too, which is a win. Like a whole bunch. Gosh, I just missed this sound so much. Like turbo rotary, cool, more horsepower, it's way faster, but no Karen hated me more at a stoplight than when I had my silver RX-7 with all the Braps just like this. And it just brings back some fond memories of some good dirty looks from mom and dad and a kid in the back seat going like this. Fire me up. All right, guys, so I just let it sit there and idle for a good bit, and the temperature is just climbing. So we were at 180 whenever I was, like, obviously backing it out of the garage. Just sitting here, idling. I know the trailer, like, it's hot in here now, so hot air, not fresh air. But it was just climbing and climbing. It kind of peaked at, like, 208, 210-ish. So one of the thoughts I have is, like, I wonder if that sensor, you know, if I overheated the sensor, if maybe that is like it's reading higher than normal, you know, and like 210 might be 180. I really kind of want to get like another temperature gauge on it somehow to be able to see like what it's going on from a more trustworthy source, we'll say, than, you know, the gauge that we had hastily wired in on the old car and the old sensor that saw like 280 degree coolant temps for an event. The nice thing is though, see now here's the crazy thing. So just in that like 6 seconds, or just in that like 30 seconds that I turned it off, the car already cooled down from 210 to like 193-ish or so on the gauge. So like, how does 30 seconds cool down an engine with it not running 15 degrees? Like, I wouldn't think that's possible. So that's why I'm curious if that sensor is wigging out, and maybe I'm just worrying for no reason that my gauge says 210 when honestly it's probably like 185. Like I said, I never had an issue with this motor before. Clutch fan stock RX-7 radiator, like in my silver car at that drift event on a 100-degree day. Like, I drove the crap out of that car, and it would never see over 210 degrees on like my digital gauge I had in it. So always something. Pre-rally worries. Okay, I'm gonna get this strapped down, and then we're gonna load the spare parts up. Spare parts loaded. So don't think that like we're just here to take apart all my running cars to do fun stuff in life and everything, but the thing of it is, what's the best way to make sure you have everything to fix your running car is to have a second running car that has all the same parts as your first running car. So this is a half Bridgeport 13B with a Holley carburetor, the same electronic ignition that I put in the rally car. It's got a 4-speed trans that will go right into the rally car if we needed it, which I already packed, you know, another 5-speed, so we're pretty much good. But the truck 4 speeds and an SA 5-speed are basically the exact same. Clutch, slave cylinder, everything bolts right on. The radiator from the truck will fit in the rally car, which I have another spare radiator anyways in the box, so it's not a huge deal. And it's a Rotary truck, so we just gotta bring the Rotary truck along. So this would have been our recce vehicle. I had a set of snow tires. We're gonna throw those on here and take this out, do all of our recce. Unfortunately, I had a family member pass away last week, so I have a funeral to go to, which is why I'm missing a couple of days of the rally. In addition, I really want to thank Group Z Rally, the Zapsky brothers out of Maine, for letting Calvin do recce with them. So, you know, we got a 2-car trailer, spare parts. This will be nice to help rip around in service, or honestly, the service bays at this rally are way too small in my opinion. They're 40 foot by 20 foot. Our trailer is 44 feet long, so we can't really fit in anything that's like, you know, we're going to be overhanging our service bay by just a smidge, so hopefully no one complains. If they will, then we'll just literally drive the Repu to service and park the truck and trailer somewhere else. So I'm pumped. It's a good old truck, guys. 1974 Mazda rotary engine pickup. I've had it for a very long time. I literally haven't done that much as far as appearance changes, but all the suspension's been redone. It's a fun driving old truck. Everything's loaded up, ready to go to the rally. Calvin and his dad, Matt, are gonna take the car. I'm pumped. Be good and safe drive out there for them. All good. Y'all be safe. Absolutely. Rock on.
Couple days.
See you in a couple days. All right. Gotta love being able to trust your best friend and his dad and just, buddy, come on, you're gonna get hit by the trailer, dummy. To just roll off with the race rig. Super stoked. So the setup on the truck, because I know y'all are so interested in the dually, because it's got a Cadillac badge on it. It's the Caddy Max. So I bought a Cadillac Escalade right there, took the whole interior out, swapped it into the dually. It's an LB7, so it's an 03 with a cat eye front end on it, Cadillac interior, and it's a 6-speed ZF manual transmission 4-wheel drive truck. So it's literally like a complete and total unicorn of a truck, and the best part about it is towing across the country, back, forth, the whole deal. Everything's super mint, is that I don't have to worry about trans temps, I don't have to worry about nothing. I just put it in 5th gear when I need to climb a hill, 6th when I'm cruising, and the thing just builds, boosts, and goes. It's literally a stock engine, everything just nice, stock, reliable. Don't need to go too crazy with them. So I guess that's what we look like whenever we drive down the road and go to races. It's so weird. It's like the first time you ever let somebody else drive your project car and you see your own car that you built driving down the road. You're like, wow, what an interesting situation I am in right now.
This is a very interesting situation.
Because typically I don't ever get to hear my car from the outside or really know what it sounds like, aside from, you know, people taking videos of it and whatnot. So with that, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. I have the entirety of this shop to clean up tomorrow morning, this video to put together, funeral stuff to do. It's been one crazy past 2 weeks, that's for sure, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support in the comments, watching the rally car videos. And I'm excited to be able to get the rally season done. I'm honestly like, I'm so stoked to be able to finally put the Rotary in this car and like show the rally family, all you guys, what my real, drive and passion and why I love rally is. That's Rotary engines, rod milling, all-wheel drive RX-7s. Like, that's always been my goal. And then, growing up seeing all the Ken Block stuff, it just inspires you even more to want to race rally. And I cannot, I can't wait for this weekend. The 2 weeks of completely destroying my shop trying to build this car and get everything swapped out. And then it's going to be, even if we just show up, make it through Park Expose, as long as I can let some young kids sit in the car, put some smiles on people's faces with all the braps, that's what this is about for me. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Keep it rad. Live a life you don't need a vacation from. Peace. I can still hear it. I guess the dually, it does have one modification, which is a straight pipe. It's just a 4-inch straight exhaust all the way out. Other than that, stock as a rock. Man. What a beautiful evening.